Hello, welcome back to What a Comedian. This is Natalie again. I'm super sorry for not releasing an episode last week. I just had so many things and it really got to me, but I hope this will make it up to you. I'm really excited for this new episode because it is the first ever female person I'm interviewing and a person of, I don't know, I just like her a lot, and it was a really fun conversation, very relatable. But so far, my weeks have been pretty good. I've just finished marching band season in my band for school, and I've submitted all my early applications for college, so I officially have more time now. I've applied to 8, I believe, and I've heard back from 3, all admitted, so that's super great going for me. I'm trying to get this comedy thing more started up again. I've been emailing more people. I actually had an interview this morning. No, this morning. This afternoon with probably one of the biggest people ever. I'm really happy that I got to talk with him, and I'm super surprised that he said yes to begin with. But I'm excited for that to be coming out soon. And I really just hope that you guys are having a good time like I am. This whole thing has just been a joyride for me, and I really love just talking to people and honestly surprising them by the amount of research I do, considering like they're not the most well known, but they're up there to me at least. I usually only interview the people that I find funny, and if I somehow interview you, then you fit my requirements. Not saying that it's a very specific requirement, but I don't know. I just enjoy talking to as many people I can, and it was really just like a mind refresher. I used a new platform, and I don't know. I've been trying a lot of things out, and I'm gonna see how it goes. Just gonna experiment, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm really excited for everything that's coming up, and I hope you enjoy this next episode. So, I'm going to be talking to Katherine Yoon, and she is currently in LA, like many of my other comedians, but I'm really excited because this is the first time I actually talked to a female in comedy, which is not heard of as much as others. Like there's definitely more and more famous comedians that are female, but it's just hard to honestly succeed in a society that I guess subconsciously thinks about like belittles females. Like I get there's a lot of people who don't anymore, but just like subconsciously people will do that, and it gets annoying at times, but it just gives you thicker skin, and I really enjoyed this conversation. She It really showed a side where even if you're not a professional comedian, like you're not doing it for your life or for the bills, it still works. And just doing it as something, a passion or something you love, or something that just helps you heal and be comforted and just enjoy and increase your quality of life. I think that's very nice to think about, even in just comedy. So I hope you enjoy this episode, and yeah, thank you for listening.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing good. I just came back. Are you interested in tennis or anything?
Um, I do yoga, but I don't do tennis. But you play tennis?
Yeah, I actually used to do yoga.
Okay.
Yeah, but I pursued tennis more. So
Tennis. I bet it's way more aggressive, right?
yeah, it's a little more annoying.
Yeah. How long have you been doing tennis?
Probably around, let's see, 6 years.
This is your fifth year.
6 years. This is my sixth year.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Your arm must be really strong because I was told that your arm gets really strong when you play tennis.
I mean, Not exactly my arm. Like I feel like my forearm and my like hand grip is definitely much
Mm,
stronger, but like
mm,
arm wise, not really.
okay. I used to have a roommate who played tennis, and she told me like her arms were like really built. So I guess yeah, but I guess she was wrong. Like,
Yeah. I was
anyways,
like, yeah, just anyways, I was like at this tournament called the Cincinnati Open, and basically I was like
okay.
doing ball crew there. So long story short,
Okay, okay. So you're catching balls.
yeah, basically
Picking up
catching and
balls.
throwing balls. How have you been?
Sunday's a lot of things to do. Because during weekdays I'm running around. But is you're in Milwaukee? Where are you?
I'm in Michigan.
Oh, Michigan. Okay. So that's is it? Where is Michigan?
Uh, it's like it's near Wisconsin. It's like I think it's to the right of Wisconsin.
Okay. Okay. And Michigan is the state.
Yes, it is a state.
I need a geography lesson. Okay, what is the city? What is the city in Michigan? Which city in
I live
Michigan?
in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Auburn.
Ann Arbor.
Arbor. Okay, okay, okay. I think I've heard of that. What is the major city in Michigan that everyone knows of? Like a capital.
Detroit.
Or
Detroit. It's like for it used to be really famous for like cars because it was like building cars there was very famous. But now it's just like I don't know. I don't really know what. There's nothing really to do in Detroit. I'm not going to be honest.
yeah.
Lansing is the capital, but there's not really much to do in Lansing either.
Okay, let me just Google. Sorry, let me just Google Michigan quickly.
You're good. You're good.
Yeah, Michigan. Okay. U.S. state. Okay.
Yeah. Before I moved to Michigan,
Uh,
I was like, I know I've never heard of Michigan. I'm not gonna lie.
oh yeah, Detroit. Okay, okay, got it. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I lived in Toronto,
Uh huh.
and Toronto and Detroit are really close. I
Yeah.
don't know if you know what. Yeah. Okay. Okay. There you go.
I live like 40 minutes away from Detroit, so
Okay. Is Detroit rough? Is that there must be a rough area in Detroit? No, or
yeah. I've only been there a few times because it's not really that interesting to me, but it's really busy and like a lot of people there. It's very densely populated.
where do you live in kind of like a
Yeah, it's more of
suburban
a
area?
suburb because it's more of a because Ann Arbor's a college town because of University of Michigan.
Yes.
So
Right. Right. Right.
it's more suburban than urban, I would say.
Okay. Right. Right. Do you go to University of Michigan
No,
or?
I am a senior in high school, so not yet.
Oh, it's grade 11 or 12?
I'm an incoming
11.
senior, 12.
Grade 12. Okay. Okay. Got
Yeah.
it.
But it's like I'm very close to the university since like my high school is literally do you know the big house where they have like a bunch of football stuff? Like the big house stadium?
Mm.
My high school is basically like right across from it. So I can like walk to it if I
Mm.
wanted to.
Do you hear like cheers and rumbles?
It's so busy when it's during football season. Like our parking lot, it's basically all full from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Michigan's big on football, probably, right?
yeah, I
Yeah,
personally don't know how football works, so I
right,
can't say anything, but it is pretty
right.
big on football.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah. So you play tennis, but yeah, you're not interested in football.
No, it's yeah, I don't
Okay.
really football's not like I the only interactions with football I have is I do marching band in my school. So I watch football games, but I have no idea how it works.
Okay, okay. I was just curious, do you get like made fun of because you're in marching band, or is just this a very stereotype about being in a marching band?
Um, I'm not necessarily marching band. It's just because overall, it just has to being a band kid. You're like, oh, you're a band kid.
Yeah,
But like marching band
yeah.
itself, I don't. There hasn't been any instances where like anyone made fun of me because I'm in marching band. But like just being in band general, they're like, oh, you're that kind of kid. I'm like, yeah, I am. So
That's awesome. Do you play like instruments in the marching band or?
so in marching bands specifically, I do color guard. So I basically do like wave a flag around. But in concert band, I do play the flute.
Oh,
It's a very Asian stereotypical instrument, but
yeah. There you go. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's beautiful. I am jealous. It's very Lizzo.
yeah. Do you play any instruments?
Yeah, that's why I'm jealous. I mean, I was forced to play piano, forced,
Same,
as all
same.
Asian kids. Yeah, and I regret it because my teacher was horrible, and uh, I wish I paid more attention.
See, you and I are opposite because I don't regret quitting piano.
Do you like flute more than piano?
Well, I just don't necessarily like playing instruments that much.
Yeah.
So, but it's
So you
like,
must.
hmm?
Sorry, go ahead. You must be preparing for college, no? Like grade 12. You the pressure's on, no?
Yeah, college application season's already started. So,
Oh my god. Yeah. Do
so
you
that
know where you want to go? I know this it's a very personal question I'm asking,
I mean,
but
it's like, well, I don't necessarily care about what undergrad school I go to because I want to go to into pre med. I'm a very Asian student, as you can tell. But it's like there's like a few colleges where like they have like 8-year programs where it's like you can get like bachelor's degree and medical degree. So I've been looking into those, but those are very competitive. So I'm just like, I'm okay with anything.
okay. Because my coworker's daughter just got into med school,
Mm-hmm.
and it's tough. Do you know that school? I think it's in Boston or something.
Tufts.
Tough.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, tough. Correct. How do you spell it? Do you know?
TUFTS.
Oh, there you go. Okay, okay. Yeah, and it's grad school, right? The med in grad school, or
I think I think it's just a medical school. Like you usually just go from that like undergrad to medical school. Did you have any aspirations of going into the common Asian careers?
what do you think? I actually did pre-med. Did I went to I went to UBC, University of British Columbia,
Okay.
and I yeah, I majored in chemistry. I excelled. Okay, I excelled in chemistry until I had biochemistry, which ruined my life. Probably 30 or 40%, half of the pre-med student drops out of that class. What is it called? Biomed or biochemistry? I forgot, but yeah, that's when you study like what moleculars like combined together to become another one. It's actually very fascinating if you think about it, but then somehow it just when you're in it, you're so blinded by getting grades rather than learning learning experience that you forgot about learning. You're all about getting grades, which lose all you're interested in this fascinating stuff. But so that's why I asked. And I mean, that's a great question answer because it's a job. Like no one is forced to like their job. Like
Yeah.
I'm sure doctors are sometimes regretting their choices. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No,
yeah.
I'm just like I enjoy biology more than chemistry. So
Okay.
I did AP chemistry like in 10th grade and it was actually like the death of me. I hated it so much, but it's like, oh, I know how to do it again, so I'm just like, oh well, like whatever.
You did well in AP chemistry.
I mean, I got A's and A minuses, So, and I got a 4 on the AP exam, so I think I did relatively well. I didn't care about it that much.
Wow.
So,
Okay. I'm excited for you. You're gonna save a lot of lives.
hopefully,
Yeah.
unless I just fully decide to do something else. I don't know.
You ever think about gap year, like taking a year off, and then
Yeah,
figuring
I
out what
mean,
you really want to do?
it seems like a lot of work. And like school is great for me because like they give me work and I just have to learn it. But gap year is just more like I defined what I want to do, and it's very easy to just stay at home and like watch TV.
I hear you, and you know what? Going to school will show you, right? Like just immersed in that environment. I'm sure
Yeah.
pushes you forward.
No, yeah, I like unlike a lot of people, I enjoy like the academic setting much
Mm,
more than like I prefer school than summer break because it's just like I just there's constantly something to do, and rather in summer break I have to
mm.
find something to do, which is very annoying. Uh, so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's interesting.
it's
Yeah.
it's controversial. It's controversial. I cannot be saying that to my friends.
Why would your friends say?
Well, they'll just be like, "Oh my god, you're such a nerd. Like, why are you doing this to yourself?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I just like working."
Yeah, it's a great work ethic. No one will understand you.
No one
He's
understands
lazy
me,
ass. Yeah,
but
yeah,
it works out, so that's okay.
yeah.
Okay,
It pays off.
yeah. Anyways, back to my original topic, which I wanted to start on. How and when did you want to become like a comedian?
Um, I I came to the U.S. I'm Canadian. I'm a half of my life. I lived in South Korea, half of my life in Canada. 5 years in Vancouver, 10 years in 5 years in Vancouver, like 7 years in Toronto. And I graduated university in Toronto. I did pre med in Vancouver. Failed miserably pre med. I thank God. I won't be able to save people's lives. I'm so not. Anyways, so Toronto graduated architecture. I was working architecture, and then I just really wanted to move to LA because my dad was studying journalism in LA when I was 3 years old, and I always had this idea about moving to LA and starting my life over. So I decided to do that, and I moved to LA 7 years ago, and no job, no friends, no family. I was living at this like half homeless shelter in LA, and miserable. I was suicidal, and it, I think comedy saved my life because I just decided to just go to open mic. I don't know if you know open mic. Comics go there to practice their jokes,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
one day I decided to go there, and I tried out, failed miserably, but I kept doing it, and it saved my life. I yeah,
Did you have any inspirations in like the comedy scene?
um, like like you like the comics I aspire to be, or
Yeah, like what made you want to try comedy? Like, did you listen to some certain like comedians do stand up that made you like
mm,
peak interest in it?
100%. I mean, they there's a lot of comics like Dane Cook or Chris Rock, very like popular comics, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
mainstream. And I've never thought of wanting to become a comic when I watched them, but I knew comedy from them. And then Ali Wong came out.
Yeah.
But I even then, of course, Ali Wong, such a queen, such an inspiration. But even then, watching her didn't make me want to be a comedian. I just she represent excellence, like the highest level of comedy that I admire, but I didn't want it to be a comedian. And then I watched Anthony Jeselnik. I don't know if you know him. And when I watched him, I knew I wanted to be a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, uh, it just, uh, Ali Wang opened the door for a lot of us to dream and imagine. But I think Jeselnik kind of made me want to be a comedian because she showed such a different types of comedy. Like he wasn't goofy, he wasn't running around, he wasn't exaggerated. He just did jokes and it worked. And I really really loved that part of comedy.
Mm. Do you try to include, like you said you went into architecture and stuff, do you try to incorporate those skills you've earned from architecture into your comedy, like jokes or like a way you structure comedy?
Should I should inspire myself from my day job, bring that idea, that synergy of day job into night job. But I don't. I very yeah, uh, shame on me. But architecture is very foundation. If you build on strong foundation, the building will be fine. And that's the idea I always want to carry around.
Okay. Do you
Just
think you
the
have a
setup and punchline.
yeah.
Because joke has the structure, and I it's my religion. I don't want to go by uh, rambling
Yeah.
on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you usually think of like your jokes? Would you say like do you just like think of them suddenly? I'm like, oh, this is a funny moment. Let me write it down, or do you just like ponder around and think of like plot twists, as many of your jokes often have?
I start with freehand writing. I write down everything that I come up with, and I actually focus on what things that I don't usually say or think about, like beheading. I've been thinking about that a lot these. um, like how can behead what? Just one word always fascinates, and no one would look at me and associate me, Asian woman, to beheading.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm always going for, that to expand my comfort zone. And that's when good things come out of it, because eventually when you think about beheading, it will connect to what's happening in your life, just unconscious.
Yeah.
Does this make sense?
Yeah. So I've also noticed in many of your jokes that you have like you enjoy the conversation of murder. Um do you enjoy more true crime or like fictional characters?
Agatha Christie, she's my religion. The fiction, murder mystery writing is. I always wanted to be a murder mystery writer, and my parents told me there is no money in that. So I'm trying to do that on stage with jokes.
Yeah. No, same. I used to want to be a novel writer, and then my parents like sat down with me, like that's not going to make you money. And they're like, doctors can like write books on the side too if you really wanted to.
Actually, they are very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, all right.
I'll make money and write.
I'll make money and then start writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a question. I enjoy that's not I should not say that. I like the Hannibal Lecter series. Have you ever read it yet or watched any of the movies?
No.
You should. It's very it's a very extreme version of murder.
Okay. All right. I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Hannibal Lecter. Okay.
Yeah. Just wanted to let you know.
It's like another horror that you will love. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like no, because I don't usually enjoy horror that much. But the only reason I actually got into it is because one of my like celebrity crushes was acted as Hannibal in a series. So I started watching. I was like, oh, why is this actually kind of cool? And why do I actually kind of like Hannibal Lecter, other than the cannibalism part? So
Obviously, yeah.
yeah, and that's actually kind of got me in weird places because all my friends are like they fear that I'm going to eat them one day, and I'm like I'm not going to do that. Like, don't worry.
Yeah, you have bad diet. I only eat organic food.
Yeah, it's like I eat
Organic
vegetables.
human.
I don't eat
Yeah.
that much meat.
Yeah. Yeah. Longevity
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
reasons. Yeah.
Uh, and as a fellow, um, let's just say, person who likes dark humor and enjoys making dark humor, is there any like visceral reactions to your jokes? Or like would people be like, "Oh, that's not something you should joke about," or something like that?
Hmm. I mean, those are the moment you're looking for, right?
Yeah,
You're making people uncomfortable, and Jackson like says it so perfectly. He said when people are all like laughing, but they know they shouldn't be laughing. That's the joke that you're looking for. And that's the other day I was talking about my mom beating me on stage, and someone came up to me and she's like, "I love that joke." And she said, "I know I'm not supposed to laugh about it, but I laughed
yeah,
because I made it funny, because I'm a good comic." Yeah, no, but those are the ones that you're looking. I mean, Jim Gaffigan was saying, or you're looking for 70% laugh and 30% horror, like people reacting like, oh, But I'm more, yeah, but I mean, that's what you're looking for.
do you think like performing towards like different audiences can definitely like impact the way your not jork joke performs, or like I just say like how it punches to people?
Performing to different types of crowds. That's what you're saying,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like women, men, handicapped people.
yeah.
Those are not important people. Honestly. Um, yeah, I'm that. In the beginning, I was gearing my jokes toward men
Yeah,
because men are. I always thought men knows jokes the best because I was stupid. And jokes. Male comics I'm sure started stand up. I don't know, like maybe with female comic did, but like jokes were very focused on male opinions and perspectives. And then now I'm gearing my focus toward women, and it really changed the game. Now I'm excited to make women laugh, and excited that I'm capable of making women laugh, and it really expand your horizon. It's just like finding different color. I only knew green, now I know red.
yeah. I definitely feel like the comedy scene is definitely very male oriented. Like even just like like I'm not even trying to. I'm like I don't prefer male comics, but most of my favorite comics are male simply because there's just so much more male stand-up comedians compared to women. And it annoys me a little bit, but like it's just like I think there's definitely more women coming in though, so it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, very
Um.
exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is. Do you try? What's like the difference in the comedy scenes? Because I know you performed in South Korea too. What is there? What is the difference in the audiences and the comedy scenes in America and South Korea?
It's a great question. Different, very different, but at the same time, if your joke is good, your joke works. I don't know how to explain. I think that is my goal, to be a global star. Like it's such a like narcissistic way to say it. Star, being a star. I don't, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? Like to
Yeah.
be universally accepted. Because truth, being beaten by your mother isn't a Korean thing only.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'm sure that happens in Norway, maybe rarely, but sometimes. Like just the truth touches everyone. We have something that we all share, and I think that's what I'm going after. Yeah, and so what I'm trying to say is, good written jokes will work anywhere. It worked in Korea. It worked in the U.S.
Do you have any like racist encounters in different like in America or like even in South Korea because people are like, "Oh, like why are you talking in American?" or something like that. Not in American English.
Well, I mean, often, very often. I mean, but you persevere, you push through, and it's kind of crazy because open mics, like there are a lot of comics there, and they respect you, they understand what you're going after. But some, like 1 out of 10, like comics will get offended by your jokes and come up to you and say things like you shouldn't be saying that or you shouldn't be doing that jokes, which encouraged me to do that joke more. um, so yeah, but racism push through. You just have to write it better. You have to perform it better. It makes you a better comic.
What are some of your worst heckles or encounters in your lifetime of performing?
I think it's because whenever I'm on stage, I try to be the captain of my ship, very dominant and very control. Like it's under my command. No one will stop me.
Yeah.
I think that's why in shows I don't get stopped a lot, but at open mics, there were 2 times. One time the guy stopped me because I was making joke about his joke he did earlier on. He cut my time. He's like, "You're done. You're not doing your time anymore." And everyone was like, "That's not acceptable. She had 3 minutes, and you're not even giving her 3 minutes."
Yeah.
And the second time, yeah, that was I don't know if you saw. I posted it on Instagram, and then the second one was this guy. I said a joke about it, and he started yelling at me, F you," just constantly. And that I think those are the 2 times that I remember.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like often there's a lot of nowadays on Instagram. There's a lot of more crowd work and a lot of more crowd interaction. So I feel like heckles are a really big thing now, and most people like want to see these heckles, but I feel like they're very uncomfortable to like deal with actually on stage because they're like not part of your set or your planned like jokes.
Right.
Yeah. I've also seen you performed in Second City, and I'm just wondering, knowing its rich culture in doing improv or like making up stuff on the spot, do you tend to steer towards planned sets, or do you try to incorporate some improv into your jokes?
Great question. I love your questions. These are great questions. In the beginning, I was always very stick to my plans, like set list, do your jokes, don't waste people's time. And then now I interact with people more on stage, which means I'm more comfortable on stage. I am not nervous. I can look at people in the eyes and I can say, my jokes are good, but how are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, so both.
I see. I see. I feel like that's a lot of it. Definitely, I feel like it would be nearly impossible for someone to do purely improv or just purely planned sets because you never know what's going to happen on stage. Yeah. Um, I also seen some of your jokes online, and you've mentioned that you've gone through the Kumon experience.
Yeah.
And as a fellow person who has also gone through Kumon, what was it like for you personally?
I'm gonna be honest with you, Natalie. I have never done Kumon.
Oh my god.
But I have done similar. Trust me, similar thing like Kumon.
Okay.
The teacher will come. I have to do those 17 math sheets
Yeah.
completed by tomorrow at 7 p.m. But I failed though. I'm not like you. I didn't excel at school because I mean because I didn't put effort to it. But when I put effort to it, I excelled. But I so yeah, and very repetitive work, a lot of memorization, a lot of repetitive work. Uh, but that's what you should do to be good at something, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's the annoying part of trying to be good.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not fun at all.
patient kids. Yeah, no, the excellence, the path to excellence.
Yeah. Speaking of Asians, so you've also mentioned a lot of your like your mother in your jokes. It's like, oh, my mother would not like appreciate this or like something like that. Um, what was your mother? Do you know what your mother's reaction was towards your uh interest in pursuing comedy on stage?
Um, I don't tell my parents.
That's very real.
Yeah, to be real. My mom found out this year. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Oh my god, you kept it hidden for so long.
Yes, yeah, because that's what good girl does. That's what
Yeah.
good daughters do.
Mm-hmm.
They hide things so that your parents don't have to worry about you. No, I'm so wrong about that. But
I mean, I'm hiding this podcast. Okay, my parents have no idea I'm doing this.
those are great things, because it's yours and yours only.
Yeah.
No one can touch it, and you can morph it. You can make it grow without interference. So yeah, my mom found out this year, and she told me, please don't say much thing about sex on stage. I mean, she has a point, but just you have to write it as a good joke,
Yeah.
not just blab blab it, ramble about jokes. I mean, sex on stage.
How'd she find out?
I went to a show in Korea, and it was at 9 p.m. And my mom was like, "You're not going out at 9 p.m. You will get raped, okay? You will get molested. You will get kidnapped.
Yeah.
9 p.m. It's like the sun is not even in the sky.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm coming with you.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, do it, let's do it. Yeah, and she came with me, and she saw my act, and she was confused, but she gave love, and yeah.
No, I literally I haven't tried comedy yet. I've been wanting to do open mics, but I'm not old enough to go into most clubs. So it's like I'm just waiting for the time, but I like to go to watch comedy shows. And I actually went with my mom to watch the show at Second City, and I was like having the time of my life, and she was just there. She's like, I don't really understand this. Like, I don't know why you like this so much.
I mean, but wouldn't you be not interested in it if you were your mom, right? Like, why would she be interested in this? She didn't grow up with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I feel like I personally didn't discover comedy, or like I didn't really dive into comedy until like 1 or 2 years ago. So it's like it's still a very new thing to me, but I'm a very obsessive person. So I when I get into something, I like go really deep in it. And sadly, it's not school yet.
I love it. I'm the same. I'm the same.
I'm just waiting for the day where I become like, oh, I want to learn about biology on my free time. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just the educational system, right? If they make the biology fun, I'm sure that's like math for me. I'm starting to learn math again.
You said you were learning math recently. I was wondering what math were you interested in, or what have you been learning?
So there's a movie called Margaret's Theorem. I watched it on plane. It's like French movie, and it was about this woman who mathematicians, and she's discovering her life and love through math. And I got fascinated that female mathematicians are trying to like to connect the dot between her life and her love, like how life works. And I think that pushed me to learn more about math and like how math can be a play rather than a homework.
Do you enjoy doing calculus?
Yeah, to be honest, I actually draw graphs.
Uh-huh.
Whenever people tell me something, I'm visually drawing graphs.
I do that too.
And you do that too?
No, I have to. Like during class, you can just see me like I have to use my hands to like figure it out. So I just be doing like weirdest motions to get to make myself like understand what's going on.
It's how your brain works, and it's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. The reason I asked, I actually just finished calculus, Calc BC at my school, and it was actually not that bad. Like I'm gonna be honest, but it was hard.
Hmm. What I've been out of school for a while. Calculus is it more like a study of changes like velocity and
So that's
like
like
so that
that's like one of the units. Like we definitely do like change in velocity, change in acceleration, change in speed and distance and all that stuff. But there's like other units where it's just like, oh, um, study like the area under the curve, or like in this model, if it's revolving around the x-axis, what is the area under this? And it's like washer and discs, and it gets very annoying.
yeah, I calculus is harder than algebra, right?
I feel like definitely learning algebra is harder than calculus, but like calculus itself is harder.
Mm,
Yeah. So it was very annoying, I'm not gonna lie. But it's like actually like before this I didn't really enjoy math classes that much because it was just like more of like a chore than actually learning it. But maybe it was because like the teacher of this year, or just me slowly understanding how to actually study and learn in school. I actually started enjoying it a lot, so that was nice.
that's awesome. I mean, I'm jealous. You're only going into the grade 12 and you're learning the joy of learning.
Yeah, I don't know. I get called I'm old for my age. I get called I'm old soul,
Oh,
which I personally think is a compliment because I strive to be old. Like I don't know. I like being old. Maybe I won't like that when I'm in my 30s, but so far I like it a lot.
it helps you, right?
Yeah,
Right away. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely allows me to feel like I'm in control of my life and totally just not like
Mm,
getting pressured to do something.
you know that you've done this before.
Exactly. Yeah. Um, when you were in school, I'm just wondering, were you more of like a math science student or more of like an English, like humanities student?
Oh, when I was in Vancouver, I I went to grade 11 and 12 in Vancouver because I was I was in high like I moved to Vancouver when I was in yeah, and I had to get a perfect grade in math to be able to get into university because I was getting 60s in English. I don't know if you know what I'm trying, like the average, like
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
getting 60s in English, I have to get 100 in math to have 80s
Like a GPA
in
kind of.
yes, and I wish I were getting better grade in English, but I just couldn't. But I actually am more of literature English person, like a I'm more of language person than math and science person. But I think it's changing because my interest science is fascinating, So yeah.
Once there's no grades involved, it's fun.
Well, as long as it's not forced
Like as long as
upon
there's nothing
you.
on the line, it's fine.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I definitely relate to that a lot because um I from like a young age, even though I've lived in America my whole life and English is probably like my first language, I've always been not that good at English. Like my parents are always like, you need to improve your English. Like you need like this is your weakest subject. You need to like improve it. And I'm like, this is the best I can do. I don't see how I can do any better. Like I read so much. I used to read so much, but it's just like I can't get better at it. But I enjoy it a lot. And then I'm just like, I want to go into this, and they're like, you really shouldn't. So, but it's just like I, as I'm like growing up, I definitely realized that I'm more of like a math science student. Like I definitely excel at science and math so much easier than writing and English per se. But I definitely enjoy learning about English much more than them. You know?
Hmm. I mean, even like Einstein or Alan Turing, like they were bad at math, and like I mean, Alan Turing was a mathematician, so he was good at it. But I heard like Einstein was bad at math, and like Alan Turing was bad at like decoding. Like what aren't these what you're known to be good at? But like I guess yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out my life, but you know I have time, so it's okay. Yeah. This is just one of my questions that I ask everybody, but do you have any advice to anyone who's trying to pursue comedy or anything in like the entertainment scene?
Um, I mean, comedy is very subjective. Is that the English expression? Like objective and subjective,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Objective is very like scientific, and subjective is very personal,
Yeah.
uh, opinion oriented. Comedy is very subjective. That's one thing that's good and bad at the same time.
Mhm.
Uh, you just have to find your voice, and no matter what people say to you, always remember it's subjective. Someone will like it if you're true to your voice.
Okay. That sounds good. I like it. Do you enjoy the LA comedy scene a lot?
I mean, I haven't tried New York, like, but LA comedy is abundant. Abundance. That's
Yeah.
the good thing. Like, open mic 7 days a week. You know,
You
and
should
shows
try
happening everywhere. Yeah.
you should try going to Chicago or New York because their comedy scenes are also very like I've never been to New York. I've been to New York, but not when I liked comedy. But it's just like when I go to Chicago, there's a lot of things there, and I find it very fun. And it's the closest to me. So
Mm.
yeah. But next time I go to LA, I definitely will be going to a lot of comedy shows. So
And,
yeah,
and let me know.
I will let you
I
know.
would love to see you. I love to see you in my studious Asian
Yeah,
genius girl.
try hard.
I would love to. I would love to meet you, and yeah.
Yeah, but perhaps I might just like go to comedy. I don't know. I'm very interested in it. So
What makes you interested in comedy?
I just think once like ever since like I don't know, I just enjoy making people laugh because it's very I have um I think I have a very dark sense of humor because uh like a while ago I was dealing with like very a lot of depression and stuff. So a lot of my jokes turned out very dark and my friends are like that is not something you should be joking about and I'm like, it's funny to me. So
Yeah.
and I was like as I've like um delved into more like comics, I've like enjoyed and expanded my horizon of like what type of different humors there are. So I've realized I'm like, oh, not only is there like autobiographical humor, there's also just like people who are doing one-liners and still getting a lot of laughs. And I'm just trying to be like all inclusive where I'm just like, oh, I enjoy like all these types of humor and jokes and things. So, and I realized that I really enjoy entertaining people even though I've never been on stage that much. Like I've only performed comedy wise like once, and it was not even that comical. It was more just like I was hosting a talent show and we had to do like a comedy skit in the beginning and all that things, and we had to like write and direct and act and all that things. And it was just very fun to do by itself, and I wasn't like nervous at all for some reason, which was very weird. But I just realized that I'm like, oh, this is actually something very fun to do, and I just love making jokes. Like it's a weird thing, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. I think maybe it's like a water, right? You're a fish and you met a water. It's
Yeah.
like a very natural. You're like a just born baby. When you put them in the water, they just know how to swim. So
No, yeah, I like it's very weird because a lot of comics are like, "Oh, when I was young in my family, I always loved making my mother laugh and all that things." And I'm like, my parents don't understand like humor. Like
yeah,
they don't get it. Like like they
yeah,
have when they find something funny, it's like these like Chinese like New Year's shows like making like different skits, and I'm like, I have no understanding of why this is funny. Like I don't get you. And
yeah.
they're exactly the same to me. They're like, why do you like this? And I'm like, I can't explain it to you. I don't know why you don't like this.
Uh, explain this, right? Like, how do you explain? Yeah, that you like like dark comedy. I mean, it is a mystery.
Yeah. Have you ever listened to the comic Jimmy Carr?
Oh yes, yes. I thought you were talking about the Australian comic, another Jimmy or what's his name? Do you know him? Anyways, yes, Jimmy Carr. I love him. Yes, go ahead.
He's one of my like top like darkest, most controversial comics, but like he's like my guilty pleasure. Like I can't say I like him because he's so dark and controversial, but like he's one of my favorites.
Uh, I just watch. I only watched old stuff of Jimmy Carr, and he came to LA actually and performed. I didn't. I missed, and I don't know what his latest stuff are like. But
I usually I only watch like his newer stuff. I don't actually look
mm,
because his older stuff are so old that I'm like I just think about it. I'm like, oh, I was 3 when he like posted this, and I was like, I don't know if I should be like
yeah.
listen. Like I like older stuff, but just like comedy wise, not really, because I think most of my comedy sense is probably revolved around the newer things rather than like older jokes. But I still try to
Yeah.
dive into both, I would say. But Jimmy Carr's newer things, I would say, are very good. I really like them a
Mm.
lot. He released a new special called like Natural Born Killer, and it's like one of the best things. It's like great.
Oh my God. I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna check it out. The Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to check out the Jimmy Carr Natural Born Killer. Someone told me, a comedy teacher told me that watch Jimmy Carr because he just not only do not one liner, but he also does crowd work. He also do storytelling, and that blew my mind away because I always thought like, oh, like you're supposed to do one thing and one thing good,
Yeah.
but he does everything
He's
well.
so good at like he wants heckles. Like it's actually insane. He's like, give me more heckles. Like like come at me, and it's like
Right.
so good. And
Yeah.
yeah, because he's like, I feel like he's definitely. I was listening to one of his like podcasts recently, and he was saying he was definitely trying to get it into more storytelling, even though he's like more one liners. He's definitely interested in trying to getting into those more longer versions. And I don't know. I enjoy like anything of his honestly because they're all like so dark, and I like it. Yeah. Also, just a question: why do you like talking about sex so much in your comedy shows?
Hmm. I, I really like in the beginning of the first 3 years, I didn't write any jokes about sex, and I would write one joke and then I would post it, and then people would go insane, like, "Why you always talk about sex?" Like, what? And I'm like, "That's one." The other 71 liners, they are nothing related to sex, and
Yeah.
now I'm like, uh, I'm open to it. I think I'm fuck it, right? Like, cause I look down on all these jokes related to sex. It was like low hanging fruit. I will never do
Hmm.
them. And now I'm like, sex. My personal life, it's really, I didn't like sex for my entire 30 years. I hated sex until recently. And that's why I'm starting to talk about it more and more. And you gotta talk about what's happening in your life, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You're understanding the appeal of it.
What understanding the appeal of it, like why people like it, or
Yeah.
yeah.
See, I'm still at that stage where I don't like it. Not that I've ever tried it, because I'm too young for that. But like, I don't like it either way.
Well, that in that case, I am older. I'm an older soul than you, I guess, right?
Yeah.
You're the younger soul of
Yeah, yeah,
us,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm the older soul. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Sex just makes me uncomfortable. Just even like I don't know. I sometimes I can handle jokes about it, but sometimes I'm just like, oh, that's not it. It's like it really depends. It really depends.
Hear you. Yeah. So I also talk about that I don't like sex, right? Like on
Yeah.
stage, I say out loud, like I used to not like sex,
Yeah.
which I think is important to talk about it because so many LA people are obsessed with sex.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and no one's talking about some people who would prefer not to have it.
Yeah.
You know, that's when we're rape.
Yeah.
Like, there are
Exactly.
people who don't like it. There are people who like it. There's like we need to talk about the people who don't like it. You know,
Exactly.
so
Yeah. All right. This is my last question for you. What are some places that I must visit in LA in your 7 years of experience there?
like you mean like a comedy wise or just generally?
Both.
Okay. I guess comedy store, but there's a place called Largo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you follow them on Instagram. Largo is a great location to check out. Comics come there to practice their new jokes.
Yeah.
They always have great comics. Largo. The Crow, which is the female central comedy mecca.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, very very safe space for women.
Yeah.
Um, what are the other comedy good places? I mean, just the Griffith Observatory. Go. A great place to look at the LA landscape.
Yeah.
My sister, her mind was blown away when I brought her to Griffith Observatory. She's like, it's so beautiful. Yeah, and the Koreatown food, great food. Are you Korean or I'm so sorry? Are you?
I am Chinese, but I do enjoy Korean culture a lot.
Okay. So Chinatown is right next to K-Town downtown. So, yeah, I wish I could. Santa Monica, go because it's so beautiful once
Yeah.
again. And Laguna Beach, go because Laguna Beach is people go there. It's the favorite spot for beach.
That's good. All right. I'll be sure to write that down because I've only been to LA once, and I plan to go there again because I actually really love urban cities a lot, and LA was just like it was great. I tried I went to I think it was a Korean store, a Korean restaurant. It was like the marinated crabs, and
That's amazing. Yeah.
and it was so good. I was like, oh wow.
Oh God, I think you hit the jackpot on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I can't wait to go back to LA. I shouldn't be excited, but I am excited.
Aww. Come please, please.
Yeah, I will come. My sister lives near LA, so
You have one older sister?
one very older sister.
Why do you say it that way?
Okay, let's just put this into perspective, okay? I am 17 years old currently. Okay. My sister is 34.
I feel like what happened to your parents? Like, did they have an argument in their 17 years?
There's no children in the middle. And I'm like, why did they either they decided or I was an accident. Like
I don't know why like had me later on, because I'm just like, one child is enough. Okay, she's already like excelled greatly. She went to an Ivy League. Like she's fine. Like I don't know why you need another one. All right. Well, it was great talking to you. I hope to see you in person one day if ever go back to LA again.
The Joey talking to you, and I will talk to you again soon.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course.
Welcome back to my solo voice. I hope you enjoyed that interview as much as I did. I was hoping to talk to her more, but I had things to do and I have work to go to, but that's okay. I hope to release more episodes soon to make up the amount I've been missing. And I'm really excited just to release more episodes because I've been having a lot of them in my inventory and I want to get them out. I want to start something anew. So I really hope you like this episode and I hope you have a great day, night, morning, whatever time, whatever day it is for you. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I hope this is just something, a little part of your life that you can enjoy while eating food or drinking some coffee. Thank you.